Yeah, hi kids, it's me, the Red Panther. I've got one of the original Zenvikings here. This is Kevin Hickey, son of Ray, Ray's son. And Kevin was, and is, Manson's 6'9". And as you know, kids, I'm the Red Panther. All the Zenvikings have secret names. Well, I guess it's not secret now, is it? I just told you. Well, that's my almost secret name. Kevin and I go back to the Explorer Scout days in Clinton, Iowa. And Kevin's visiting Clinton, Iowa. And how's your time so far in Clinton?
Very nice.
Oh, you liar. It's a depressing place. No, I'm just kidding.
It's extremely depressing.
Oh,
Nice to see the family.
It's wonderful there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
You get to see everybody and
All the palm trees and beaches.
yeah, all the guys that you knew that just got out of prison. Actually, Kevin, you live in Florida now,
Correct.
and before we get to Florida, let me go back to the Boy Scouts just to give kids an idea of the time frame. What years were that? When you think of the Boy Scout years, what years were that?
That would be, I think it was 89 to 92.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
And when we first started doing it, how old were you?
14.
14. And I'll tell you real quick, kids, this is how I met Ray and Kevin and Matt. I was working in a gym at a Y, and Ray came, Kevin's dad Ray came there, Raymundo, the great Raymoon. He came there to work out, and he was trying to get in shape for an Army thing he was going to in Fort Benning, and he wanted his kids to work out, and he brought his kids, and you were about 14, and Matt was...
Oh, he was, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, he was a lot younger. Matt is Kevin's brother. Anyway, that's when I first met Ray, and Ray is the guy who got me to go back into the Army Reserve. Oh my God. He was in the 1st of the 4th 10th Infantry, and we were in the infantry together, and Ray was one of my sergeants. And from that experience, we got into Explorer Scouts because some kids we knew, Kevin being one of them, wanted to be military Explorer Scouts. So, along with the Army thing that I was with, Ray, we also did Explorer Scouts. So you were about 14, and this was you guys' idea, as I recall, to be military. And there were some younger kids and some older kids, if I recall.
Yep.
Like
Joe and Dave Lacrosse.
Joe and Dave Lacrosse were older than you?
Yep. They were, I think Joe was like 3 years and Dave was a year.
We were just talking about those guys, and boy, I hope I don't get anybody in any trouble here, but Joe ended up getting a master's degree and becoming an officer, and ended up in Washington. We're not sure what happened to Joe. Dave.
I don't know anything about Dave.
We lost track of Dave. Dave was, I think, the thinnest, smallest, almost guy in the whole thing when he was a kid. He washed dishwasher. He was a dishwasher at a steakhouse. I can't remember the name of it. Not the Golden Corral. Yeah, Golden Corral.
Was it Golden Corral?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was. So we used to go out there and eat.
We used to eat there all the time, and not exactly an athlete, and he ended up becoming a Green Beret, and he got a Ranger tab, I understand.
Yep.
Hard telling what happened to that guy. Plus, Joe and Dave were also combat engineer, airborne in the Gulf War.
Yep.
How about that guy, the Fry Master in Des Moines?
Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a marathon super athlete.
He was another one of your buddies,
Yep.
and he was in the Army.
Yep.
He was a tanker, wasn't he?
I think he was something mechanized.
And you had two other friends that were involved, the Trev's brothers.
Brad and Brett. Yep.
We can't talk about what they do. It's sort of mysterious, but no, just kidding, kids. But they both had military experiences, and we know one is a police officer,
Yes.
and we had the police chief's stepson,
Matt Banky.
and he ended up being a sniper. You ended up being in the 82nd Airborne,
Yep.
and you did 4 years.
4.5.
4.5 years of the 82nd Airborne. We'll get back to that in a second. I just wanted to go through some of these. Who am I forgetting here? Well, there's Eric Spittler. Did he do some Army time?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Kyle Kettleson.
Oh yeah, Mr. Opera.
Kyle Kettleson. I was in the Guard with him. He did 6 years in the Guard.
Did he really?
He did. He graduated with a degree in music from Iowa, got a master's degree, and now he's an honest to God
Opera singer.
opera singer. He goes all over the world.
Yep.
Kyle Kettleson, one of our Explorer Scouts. Pretty amazing. Who am I? Oh, I'm forgetting a lot of people here.
Tim and Mark Woods.
Oh, yeah, the Woods brothers. Tim has been in the Army. He was a TACSAT parachuter involved with the Green Berets in Iraq. He was studying nursing last time I saw something about him. I'm not sure.
Then the Nash brothers.
The Nash brothers. John didn't go in, I take it.
No,
But Josh
he just retired.
just retired. And wasn't he in communications originally?
I have no idea.
I thought he was a Victor 3. I can't remember. I thought am I imagining things, or was he in Somalia once?
Red Panther's getting old.
He told me a story that he was in Somalia in the airport roof, firing a what's the grenade launcher? The M
Mark 19.
or the Mark 19. He said I was firing the Mark 19 at the skinnies. They were trying to attack of the air. These stories get. Here's one. Joey.
Nelson.
Joey Nelson.
I haven't seen him on Facebook or anything.
I don't know what happened to him. At one time, I don't know if he was lying to me or kidding me or what. Oh, he wouldn't lie, would he?
No one would lie to the Red Panther.
That's right. I'd skin him alive. I'd waterboard him. He said that he was a model for the Versace group. I don't know, man. I'm thinking his brothers might have been spooks, but I know they were in the service. He had some connections. Well, we'll put that feeder out. Joey, where are you? Joey Nelson. Forgive me if I'm leaving some people out. Can you think of anybody else?
We just looked at that picture. Some bunch of the other guys I don't even know.
Here's a picture of some of those guys.
Yeah, I think we hit everybody.
We used to do hardcore military training.
Yes, it was.
We used to go up to the Eagle Point a lot, up in the back of Eagle Point by the dam. dressed in camouflage with guns.
Can you imagine if we did that today?
Oh man,
It would be on CNN, John.
we'd be all in prison.
A militia.
Somehow we got away with it. And we used to go out in the country too,
Yep.
and then we went to the gun range, and our idea too was, oh, so you want to be a Green Beret? Well, we'll introduce you to one, or we'll try to find one. Or you want to be a Ranger? We'll, blah blah blah. I think Ray even took you guys to the arsenal once.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah, we went a couple times.
And you saw helicopters and stuff.
Tanks and everything.
We tried to be realistic about it. If you want to be Rambo, well, let's meet a few. And they all ended up becoming Rambos themselves. It's an amazing story. And you were with the 82nd.
Yep.
And for you civilians, that's guys that jump out of airplanes. And that's the first part of it, isn't it? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You become
Yep.
airborne.
Yep.
It's the term.
Yep.
And usually when people talk about this stuff, they'll say, "How many jumps did you make?" And "How many did you make?"
56.
And what a lot of people don't realize is, kids, a lot of them are in the nighttime.
Almost all of them.
That's got to be unbelievable.
Almost all of them at night, with about 500 other paratroopers in the air with you.
And some of them you have a full combat load, I'm
Yep.
assuming.
Yep. Most of them.
Most of them, you got all your stuff with you. And that's, I'm guessing 80 pounds, 60, I don't know.
With parachute and everything, you're looking at a good 150.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
And for those that don't know about this kind of stuff, and I never did it, but I certainly know a lot of people that did, I guess. But they're all static line jumps, correct?
Correct.
And explain what that is.
You're hooked to the airplane, and when you jump out, automatically pulls your parachute because you're jumping at such a low altitude. Usually about 800 to 900 feet. That way, there's no mistakes. You just jump out and it pulls it.
So in the movies, I've seen that you're connected to a line that runs through the airplane,
Yep.
and you hook up to it, and it pulls when you jump out,
Pulls the parachute out.
it pulls the parachute
Yep.
out. And but you do have to get yourself oriented, and
You're right. You can steer it and all that. Unless you're going into combat, then you're jumping at 500 feet or less. So you're in the air about maybe 2 seconds of that.
I don't mean to be letting out military secrets, but is 500 kind of
That's
the minimum,
that's as low as you can
the
go.
low as you can go?
Yep.
And did you guys ever do things like that? Did you ever do a 500 footer? Or?
They say we didn't, but I'm telling you, there was a couple times when you jump out, you check your canopy, and then you're hitting the ground.
So it's just a couple of seconds
Yeah.
for something like that.
Yep.
Now, I don't mean to jump around here. All I do, I got ADHD, kids. But the other extreme end of parachuting is the high altitude, low opening. Is that called halo?
Yep.
And that's sort of an elite thing, I would take it.
Yeah.
Guys are almost in spacesuits. But that would be the other extreme. And you can actually sort of float into another country. You could be in one country where it's legal, and they jump out of these planes by the borders, and then they fly in.
Parachute in.
They parachute in. And they even have like oxygen, don't they?
Yep.
Now, one time you were on your way to Haiti.
The almost invasion.
The almost invasion.
Yep.
And you guys were you in parachute mode then?
Yeah, we were I think 45 minutes out from the drop zone.
Wow. Now, this is amazing because stuff like that never gets in the news. You never hear about it.
Yeah.
But they were on their way.
Well, and then President Carter was meeting with the president of Haiti and said, listen, in 30 minutes or so, the 82nd is going to be invading your country. And the president said, we don't want that. And decided he was going to stop doing whatever the hell he was doing. And that was it.
And you guys turned around.
Yeah, they had a little whiteboard, little dry erase board that they would send messages around the plane, updates on what was going on. And one update was they moved connexes onto the runway that are full of pissed off Haitians with machetes waiting for us. So we had updates constantly on this whiteboard, and the last update was we're going home, and we were all like, get out, because we were literally 45 minutes from jumping in.
Matter of fact, I have the rifle bag he had. It's in my gear. The OD rifle bag that he had on his way to Haiti.
Yep.
Now, in the 82nd Airborne, you guys are also, you go through like cycles or whatever, where you would be on the base for X amount of time.
Yeah, DRF cycles, deployment ready force.
And 24 hours a day,
Yep.
you have to be ready to go.
Because you can be anywhere in the world within 18 hours.
In 18 hours. And without giving away any secrets or anything, how long duration?
I think they were like 3 months. I think. I don't remember.
I mean, per time, a week?
No, it was. I think
months.
Yeah.
You'd be on that base, ready to go.
Yeah, because you'd have a training cycle where you did nothing but training. Then you would have a support cycle where you supported the people that were getting ready to ship out anywhere in 18 hours, and then you were the spearhead for, I think it was 3 months.
So you don't have a lot of touch with the outside world when you're doing that.
No,
You're locked in.
pretty much.
Can't get off the base. Are you restricted to the base or to a barracks?
It depends on what the mission is and what you're doing. But if you're in the support mode and or the training mode, yeah, you can go wherever you want. Even when you're on the DRF-1 status, you can still come and go as you please.
Now, you were, if I remember, at Fort Benning.
Yes.
Fort Benning, in my opinion, and it's the one place I haven't been to. I can't speak about it experientially. But Fort Benning seems to be like the heart of the Army. Am I miscalculating that? Or at least the infantry.
For the infantry, it is.
The infantry.
Yep.
Certainly the cannon cockers are down in Oklahoma, and we can't forget about the guys in Texas with their helicopters and etc. There's Rangers up in Washington, and but Fort Benning, not only the home to the 82nd, but also home to the Bravo Force. Oh, wait a minute. It's not Bravo, is it? It's Delta. A, B, C, D. Delta Force.
Not at Fort Benning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg. I got it confused.
Yeah, that's where.
Fort Bragg. Oh, see what happens when you get old? Well, let's just, as long as we're talking about Delta Force, did you ever meet any of those guys?
Yes.
And I hear people tell me that have met them that you might not even know you're talking
No,
about
you
Delta
wouldn't.
Force.
You would have no idea.
They blend in
They
so
look
well.
just like you, or I mean, some guys were massively overweight. Some were studs. Some were, just normal looking people.
But good at what they do.
Yep.
Let's go back to the 82nd. PT feels good. How's that go? You guys probably worked out all the time.
Yep.
Always running.
Yep.
I mean, PT every day, I would imagine.
Well, you drink beer until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at 4:30 or 5 and run it out of you.
Now, when you say drink beer, is that on the barrack or on the post?
Oh yeah, being 18-year-old and away from home.
So you guys did party.
Oh yeah.
When you got, let's talk about that for a second. When you got time off, you're a young man, you're full of piss and vinegar. Where do you guys go to party?
In the barracks.
Oh, in the barracks.
Yeah, none of us had cars or.
Oh, well, there you go.
The first 2 days of payday we had money, but after that we were broke.
Sure. And the first time I was in the Navy, I made about $300 a month. That was in the 70s. What'd you guys make?
I think I was right around $800 or $900 a month
With no bills.
with no bills.
And you didn't have any loans or anything. You
Nope.
just let's be honest. You pissed that money away, didn't you?
Yeah, literally.
So it's party time, and when eventually, as time went by, if you guys did go into a like R&R or whatever, if you had some time off, did you go to any? I was trying to think. Fort Benning is in Georgia, isn't it?
Yep.
Did you go to any cities in the South or?
Nope.
No, you just hung out there. Huh?
Yep.
What a bunch of alcoholics you must have been.
Yep, back in the day. The AA on the All-American patch.
Yeah. By the way, when I was in Iraq, when I was at the base called Anaconda, a friend of mine found an Iraqi outside the wire that sold him Turkish beer. Now, this is another thing that really irritated me. There was no kill zone. That's a whole other story. This is a big air base, and they farmed right up to the wire. I mean, we got mortared every night. It's something that still really drives me crazy. But anyway, my friend found this Iraqi guy who was selling Turkish beer, and we call it the 7-Eleven. It was a spot in the fence that, was kind of a blind spot, and there was a lot of vegetation on the other side. And this guy would hide in the weeds, and he'd run up to the fence at a certain time. And my buddy was in charge of getting water and going to the dumps. So we'd drive around the base a lot, and on his water runs, he'd stop there and get a case of Turkish beer. And then the 82nd Airborne came, and they took over perimeter defense, and that was the end of the 7-Eleven. They actually guarded the perimeter. But anyway, the 82nd Airborne, and it certainly goes back to World War II.
Yep.
I can't remember. I know the 101st jumped. Did they jump too in
Yes.
Normandy?
Normandy, yep.
Yeah, jeez.
Except they were, they jumped, but I think a lot of them were glider.
Oh, yeah, the glider.
Yeah.
Deal. That was another part of that.
Because I was in the 325, which was the Airborne Infantry Regiment,
Yeah.
which was nothing but gliders during World War II.
Probably don't exist now.
No. Thank God.
Unless they turn the paratrooper into a glider. We can't talk about that. That's top secret.
That's secret.
They get those bat wings and.
John, I'm going to get a soda real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll be right back.
He'll be right back. And kids, I'm just going to have to talk to you. Live here from the Bat Cave, or the Man Cave. We're interviewing Kevin Hickey. And Kevin lives in Florida. And he, I guess I can tell people you were delivering a dog in Chicago. We'll get into some of that in a minute here. Is that, you were in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Chicago's not too far from Clinton, Iowa. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at right now, because that's classified. but it rhymes with spit. Anyway, you're in the 82nd Airborne. You're 18. You spent 4.5 years there.
Yep.
So it's time to get out, and now you're 22.
Oh.
4 and 18 equals 22, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or were you 32?
I think it was 42.
Okay. He was up there. he was old enough to drink, and he gets this idea to become a policeman. Instead of coming back to Clinton, Iowa, where he was raised, he goes to Titusville, Florida.
Yep.
And you're oh boy, I don't refresh my memory. Were you married then?
Yeah, that's why we moved down there.
Oh, you got married when you were in the Army.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
And we won't mention her name, wife number 1. But boy, I'm sorry, I don't remember this part. Was she in the Army?
No.
No.
Nope. She lived in Raleigh. That was one of my trips.
So you
off
did
base.
go to Raleigh. You liar. You see that, kids? Yeah, I can get the information out of them. It just takes time.
Time and beer.
Yeah, time and beer. And you went to Raleigh and you met this lady. You got married.
Well, the reason I went to Raleigh was to get a 6-pack or a 12-pack of beer.
A 12-pack.
Well.
And you went for a 12-pack and he found a woman.
Yep. My buddies met him and we're going to go party with him, and one couldn't make it. And I said, I'm not going up there. And he goes, well, I'll buy you a 12-pack of beer. I said, all right. So that's how I met wife number 1.
And it's like the guy that went out to sell the cow and bought a magic bean.
And it was.
Boy, did you get the bean on that one.
Yep.
But you ended up with a beautiful daughter.
Yep.
And we'll talk about her maybe eventually. But so you get married, and did you have a baby then, while you were in the Army?
Yep.
Wow.
Daughter.
That's a lot of stuff to happen to you. 82nd Airborne, wife, daughter. Yikes.
Yep.
Okay, you and your wife, you go to Florida partially because, isn't that where she was from?
She was from Long Island. I was from
Long
Iowa,
Island.
and we decided I'm not moving to Long Island. And she said, I'm not moving to Iowa. But her dad lived in Florida. So right before I got out, I got a interview in Okeechobee as a prison guard for the state.
Oh boy, there's a job.
So I went down there. I drove my Volkswagen Scirocco and went to the interview. They said, you're hired. We're going to take you down to supply and get paperwork started, get all your stuff. And I said, I forgot something out in my car. And I got my car and I left. And that was the end of that.
You
I'm not
had bad vibes.
I'm not prison guard material.
You're prison material, that's for sure. We know that. Well, that's interesting. And, but you end up in Titusville.
Yep.
And you decide to become a policeman. And in Florida, you can put yourself through the academy.
Yes.
That's that.
Yeah, it's just a big money maker. You
It's
just
a cop term, kids. Cops. Where are they when you need them? Well, I got one right here. I don't need them though. But anyway, you put yourself through the academy. How long is that?
was 3 months.
3 months, and not to labor too long into that, but you'd already been in the 82nd Airborne. Was the police academy fairly easy to go through for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Physically, you were in shape.
Well, yeah, there was really no physical.
Nothing
I
physical.
think we ran twice, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Did 10 push-ups the whole time.
Did you go through withdrawals? No beer.
No.
You can't have beer when you're in there.
No.
Oh, geez, that must have been horrible. And you already were a pretty good shot.
Yep.
I remember Kevin with my 357 hitting little clay discs at 100 meters. And you certainly, all that time in the 82nd, you know you weigh around guns. So you had the gun part down.
And kids, most cops are horrible shots.
There you go, kids. You heard it from him.
Yep.
Manson 6'9", confessing. So you go through the academy, and if I remember, you got hired in the academy.
Yes, about 3 weeks before graduation.
And you got hired for the Titusville
Police, yep.
Police Department. Okay, kids, I'm going to stop this now and start another one. I don't have my reading glasses on, but it looks like we're into about 20 or 30 minutes. I want to do this in 2 parts. So this is the Red Panther signing off, and we'll start another one here in a second. Kevin just became a policeman.